For some of you may have already watched my last video. The subject is centering around fear. Understand the root of our fear in order to remove those blocks that has been within us for many years and to elevate our energy vibration. Now, I want to extend this subject a little bit further. So lately I have been thinking about, since I started my spiritual awakening journey and the personal transformation journey, how far I have overcome so many fears and anxiety and my shortcomings, how far I have come by improving myself year by year, little bit by little bit. And I completely understand and I empathize, with myself and others, how that feel during the change, because think about it, change is not easy. And a lot of time, me including myself, we always want other people to change. And we always, consciously or subconsciously, we expect other people to change for us. So that way we become more, that way it will convenient us. That way it will make us feel better about the way how we want it to be, right? Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a living habit with a roommate or family members or a spouse. However, I think if change is that easy, you know, especially, for the things that we want ourselves or other people to change, for those habits, whether it's feelings, habit, or the way how we think, or how other people they feel about us, or how other people they perceive us, right? If we want these things to be changed, if it's that easy, then everyone will do it. Everyone will change, okay? But is that easy? I don't think so. I'm just speaking from my personal experience, I it took me many years, still until today I am still learning and then practicing about change, change the things that I don't feel quite right or I'm not quite satisfied about it. So there are a couple things that I want to say about making a change. Is that one is not only, change does not only require taking the action, but also it requires us to be aware, to have consciousness, to take the action with our consciousness, with our mindfulness awareness, and also it also require us to develop a certain new way of thinking, perceiving, and then also have a different relationship with things that we want to change. So here I want to share with you one of the examples that I used to be so afraid of, but now I feel that I become way much fearless about it. So, years ago when I was in my early 20s or mid 20s or even late 20s, I was in the dating world, searching somebody, who I feel that both of us we could be a potential right fit for each other. And as many of you may know or even experience or see other people they experience this, that our current dating world, the dating society, particularly in the United States, is quite chaotic. Ever since, especially we have birth control, especially we have so many dating apps, and so it's very unorganic, not natural to meet another stranger. And I had to adjust myself in order to be a part of it, in order to, pursue that kind of love or ideal spouse or partner that I wanted to meet. However, I didn't know how. And as a matter of fact, I had a tremendous fear. I had a tremendous fear to express what I want and what am I looking for. And even further than that, what does that picture looks like? The kind of relationship or love life that I want to co-create or design, with another person. What does that picture, that goal, or that vision looks like? So many times I ended up that, I would go out with this person or that person for several times, and I could go out with them, see them for several months without knowing where is that going to lead us, because I was so afraid to express what I want. I was so afraid to be calm, be honest, transparent, and loving kind, to tell the person that I want to have a monogamous, exclusive, long-term relationship. And that may look like, we spend XYZ amount of time being with each other, every week, or we, you know, discover, explore different activities or places or hobbies together. Or even that, I was so afraid to express that, I want the guy that I was seeing at that time to invest, relationship, courses or books, with me together. So we know and we have tool in our toolbox to learn and know how to navigate when, the rough time comes up, right? And I even had a fear about asking the guy that I was seeing at that time, where was he standing at that time? Particularly after we slept with each other. After we had intimacy, I was so afraid to ask. Where do you think we are at right now? And I think even sometimes, when a guy asks me, what do I want to eat? Where do I want to go? I had a fear to truly express, this is where I want to go. This is where I want to eat. Um, and I think at that time I was totally, of course, I wasn't in any spiritual awakening journey or any personal transformation journey. So, uh, I ended up, went out on a date with different people, but I kept repeating the similar or the same, exactly the same experience over and over and over again with different faces. And yet, at the same time, I was expecting the different outcome, the different result. And today, looking back, I look at that experience as, I was running in a circle of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, and yet at the same time expecting a different result. So, maybe you would wonder, so then, Wei-Jen, what did make you change in this, significant way that led you to be where you are today, that you found the one and then you got married and so on and so forth, right? That I'm not in the dating world anymore, and um, I'm happily, I'm also very content to be where I am today. I'm also not on any like a dating, dating apps or dating website whatsoever, anything like that. So if you find that, my profile, anything like that, I can assure you that's not me. But circling back, you might want to ask, so what made me change? And I have to tell you that I also thought about that, what made me change, or what made another person change. Sometimes we we're just very surprised that another person's they make a different choices, after some years. And I would say that one element is time. Time time helps us grow and make different choices. Some other times, people still stay where they are. um, they're pretty much exactly the same or not too different. But I think overall, another crucial element that cause people to change is pain, is my pain. When I had enough pain, when my pain point, just hit the bottom to the point where I told myself enough is enough. When I had my humble moment, when I hit a major event that I completely lost myself, lost my own identity, lost my self worth, right? That low bottom point. That was a moment that I told myself enough is enough. And I've got to do something to make a change for me, for myself, for my future, for my life, because it is my life, it is my youth, it is my beauty, it is my time, right? And those are the things that money can really never buy, buy those things back. And so from there, I decided I was going to invest myself into a, various different relationship course or workshop or seminar. I even went further a little bit by I hired a relationship coach, guiding me how to have a proper and healthy relationship skills, and also communication skills, in interpersonal, like I think that's the word, right? Interpersonal skill, like how do you like interpret how do you interact with another human being, personally, in my personal life. And of course, I received lots of homeworks from the workshop, seminar, and even coach that required me to read tons of books. One thing that I really learned a lot, and I really experienced and felt and feel that I become way less feared, is when not only when I learned the new knowledge about having this, communication skills, relationship skills, and what man really cares, a lot about women, or um, how to date properly, healthy, and then set up the boundary, those kind of things. Besides learning those knowledge, the other thing that I really value and then I really discover that really helps me to change a lot is to implement all the things that I change into a real scenario, into a real relationship, into my real life, right? Because if I only read tons of book and go to different seminars, but I don't use it, I may acknowledge and then understand and then know the knowledge that I learned, but if I didn't implement into my life, I probably would still carry pretty much similar amount of fear. Because my muscle, our body is our instrument, and our body, our muscle doesn't needs to have some time and then practice to build up that kind of muscle that we become more familiar, and in this context will be become fearless. So one thing that I did a lot in the past when I was in the dating world is that I started to design and discover and then learn about what do I really want from a relationship, and what does that look like, and what is my standard. What are the things that are really important and valuable to me, that they're crucial thing. Um, and So I had this relationship coach. His name is Jonathan Astley. He is also another relationship coach, but also has his own YouTube channel. So if you guys are interested, feel free to check him out. But I have been studying with him for quite some years. One thing that Jonathan has taught me is, I have to be very crystal clear about my boundary, my standard, and also what do I really need, and then what does that picture looks like, right? What does the healthy, long-term, happy relationship looks like to me? So that way, once I am crystal clear about that, then I have the language and then the words to verbally express to whoever I was seeing at that time. So I started to take some time think about, those things, particularly when it comes to what are my standards, right? He encouraged me to make that to even write it down. And you probably will think, okay, Wei-Jen, you're making a list, right? It's like, we're searching someone who has a perfect resume. You may think in that way, and that's okay. But here I want to share with you is that I did make some bullet points that, what are my standards? Um, and how did I express my standard in a loving, kind way that doesn't make another person feel that I was controlling and I was very demanded? So here is something that I want to share with you guys. Jonathan, this loving love relationship coach, he inspired me and encouraged me to make my own dating vow. Ta-da! So this is what he called the dating vow. As you can see, I designed all these, pictures by myself, the style, the font, and the size of the words. And I will read this to you about my dating vow. And keep in mind that I also I used to update my dating vow annually because I would have a time to do some self reflection and then reassess if this is still important to me. So the first thing on my dating vow is that the person whoever I was seeing in the past and then we both agree to explore the process of getting to know each other with intent to declare something serious in the next 3 to 6 months. And we agree to be monogamous, sexual, while we both feel comfortable and safe to have regular sex together. We agree to stop actively seeking to meet or date others while we are in this dating process. And that also includes taking down our dating profile. We agree to speak up if this isn't working for us versus pulling back, ghosting, or disappearing. We agree to invest regular time in this process of getting to know each other, which looks like this. We spend time together 2 to 3 times a week doing different activities, sharing hobbies and the values, building projects, and spending time with each other's friends and the family organically. And the last but not least, we agree to invest regular time on either reading or listening to this book called Eight Dates, which has Essential Conversation for a Lifetime of Love by John and Julie Gottman. And so these are the things that are my standard. And so what I was looking for a mate at that time is that, you know, for people who cannot meet me halfway or meet my standard, right? I get to quickly wave and filter that out. And but to be honest with you guys, at first, when I hand out this standard, I felt like this is such a like a business transaction, telling people, hey, this is what I want. And especially at that time, that moment, I felt that I had a very thin skin. Like, how dare me? Who am I to express this is my standard and what I want, right? And so, but I did it anyway. I had the courage, to do it anyway. And when I was doing it, I remember my voice, my body posture, and my breath, my heartbeat. They were all shivering. I was sweating under my arm. and my voice was very low, very, the volume was very low. I could completely feel that I was in a low status, which today, sharing this with you guys, I laugh because, you know, as I am reassessing, that moment with this new version of me, I don't consider myself that I owe anybody anything, or I am lower than anybody. I am less lovable or likable than the person I was seeing or whoever I was seeing at that time. I think myself as equal, just like other people, that I am not perfect and that I do have my flaws. Um, yeah, so it was funny to think back that how shivering, how timid I was to express this is what I want so directly, yet at the same time kindly too. And so I cannot remember how many dating vows I printed out and I handed to each gentleman I was seeing at that time. And then, it was also very funny that I also had, I had not only I had this like physical paper copy with me when I went out to see people. I also had a picture version. So in case if anyone, told me, I prefer not to carry a physical copy because it looks very silly or funny to them. Then I could tell them, no worries, I have this electronic version. I can simply just airdrop you and you can go home and then think about it. It was hilarious. And then I still have that electronic version with my phone. But anyway, and I gotta share with you guys, I can't remember how many copies of the book, the 8 days book that I bought, and I gave to each gentleman who I was seeing at that time, to read through. And it was funny that this is what I observed and experienced, is that I noticed that um, over 50% of the gentlemen that I was seeing, um, over 50%, yes, of the gentlemen that I was seeing, they would either bail out from the get-go once I expressed that, or they would say, yeah, sure, I will read it with you, and or I will read it and then we can have a discussion, right? And so in the beginning they would appear that they seem like very cooperate and a very very agreeable, and then very willing to work on our love life, our dating ship together in order to design and co-create our love life together, right? But then like after 2 chapters or 3 chapters, especially after we slept together, right, and they started to like pull away, pull back. And then of course, as you can imagine, that the outcome is that they're not really truly wanted to invest as much as I want them to. And that's okay, because I gotta tell you, from the first time I handed out my dating vow and then verbally expressed clearly, kindly, that this is something that I'm so interested to have, from that moment of having that fear, and then my voice sounds very shivering and my body was sweating, to God knows how many times I hand out my dating vow and how many books I gave it to gentlemen. um, I think probably the at least 5 times I gave 5 different people about my dating vow and the book that I want to read together. I think, yeah, after 5 times or after 3 times, I experienced that I became way, 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 way less fearful. And I started to find joy from doing that. And you can disagree with me that this is the way, this is the appropriate way to express what we want. And I'm not going to say this is the only way or the most efficient way to find a mate. But I'm also learning and making improvement as well during the, in that process during that time. So my point is that it's something that I had been practicing over and over and over again with different faces, to the point in the end, I don't have that fear within me anymore. And instead, I feel more courageous, more confident, more self loved, and more, more self esteem to, and a more loving kind to express this is what I want. And it's okay that, when a person couldn't give what I want, that's okay. I also get to practice how to let go and how to detach with loving kindness, send them all my best wish. Because the truth is that when the dating didn't work with this person, right? The dating ship, didn't work out with this person, it doesn't mean that there are bad people. It just means that there are a person. There are people that they are not in my field. They are not the right fit to me, and I'm not the right fit to them too. And that's okay. And then in the end, I felt more grateful to find out that, oh, we actually were not the right fit for each other. So thank you. I'll thank the person for the memory, the time, the journey, and allowing me to know this is who they are. And so that is something, the one of the many examples that I want to share with you. How did I overcome my fear? And to this point, I would say that because I become way less fearful about expressing what I want in a relationship, um, that also changed my belief, my belief system about this particular fear. I don't have very noticeable or significant fear in a relationship right now. um, because of my body, the action that I was taking with my body and with my awareness, that gave me a new opportunity, a new relationship, to tell myself in my belief system that I am worthy and I am lovable, likable, and I'm just as equal as other gentlemen who I was seeing at the same time. And I don't owe anybody anything, not even an explanation, right? But if I'm going to ghost other people or disappear or pull back without explaining anything, right? That would be a different matter. That would be something that, I need to ask myself, why do I ghost? Why I cannot just, verbally express instead of ghosting, right? That would be on me. But, you know, I would say that this is something that I have come I have come along quite really far from where I was to where I am today. And I hope that, it will give you some insight and different new perspectives, and then also wisdom to invite you and even, inspire you to take some new actions that you can practice, and it is something that you can have your own control to make a change. And be mindful that, at the same time, we need to be patient and be gentle and be kind to ourselves when we're making any sorts of kinds of changes. Because again, change is not easy. Change is hard, because if it's easy, then again, everybody will do that, right? So really think about what are the things that you're not really happy, or it keeps having the same or similar issues that troubles you over and over again, and make a conscious decision to see, what is the first step you can make a tiny little bit change, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect during this process, but progress is important and consistency is important, and having this awareness is also very important. So that is something that I want to share with you guys. I hope you find this video is helpful to you. I know it's a little bit long, so bear with me. But I hope you find this is valuable to you. And if you like my video, feel free to like my video and share it with friends or family, because you never know, there are people out there searching for resource to help themselves. And then leave a comment, because I will also love to hear from you. And if you want to dive deeper into a personal transformation journey, feel free to also book a 30 minutes free coaching session with me to find out whether or not working with me is a good fit to you. I want to thank you, and thank you again for spending your time listening to my sharing and watching my video. I wish you have a fabulous day. Namaste.